Starting January 1, 2016, the national carrier Air India has decided they will serve only vegetarian food on short-haul flights. That is, these are flights from 1 hour to 90 minutes. A circular dated December 23 reads, and I quote, "It has been decided to provide only Indian vegetarian hot meals in the economy class on domestic sector flights with the duration between 61 and 90 minutes from January 1, 2016. The directive goes on to say tea and coffee will be off the menu on flights that fly during lunch and dinner time. The issue has raised some eyebrows as some argue that passengers should have a choice since they are paying for their meal." Now, Captain S.S. Panesar knows Air India inside out. He joins us on the broadcast. Captain Panesar, is this valid? Air India says we cannot serve a variety of meals on short duration flights. If you want hot meals, it will only be vegetarian. And this is based on passenger demand, passenger request, Captain Panesar.
Well, I appreciate the decision and what Mantriji has said. On a short duration of flight, let's talk of it. First thing, the safety is the main concern. In 90 minutes flight, 15 minutes for takeoff and 15 minutes landing are required for the preparation of the aircraft, checking the seat belts of all the passengers, seat kept right and all those things. And if you start serving different type of food, then what is the issue? There's no issue. Most of the people don't eat on these small flights. And more than 2 hours flight, the Air India is promising veg and non-veg, hot food and all that. What is the controversy? There should be no issue. And I think from safety point of view, they started very late. Actually, in fact, if you ask me, lesser than 1.5 hour flight, they should not serve anything except tea, coffee and some biscuits. Look at the American Airlines.
Okay.
For 5 hours of flying, they just give you one small juice and one packet of peanuts. So 5 hours of flying. But we serve more than 2 hours of hot lunch and dinner with your choice food.
Okay.
I think
now,
from safety point of view,
yes.
and otherwise, it's not. I think they have taken a good decision, and I appreciate that.
Excuse me. So you say it's a good decision. There are those who say, why should Air India decide what we eat? Give us a choice whether we eat veg or non-veg, hot or cold. Is that justified, sir?
Well, then there are so many people, the Parsis and the Hindus and all those, daytime Jainis and all, they will say, give me the Jaini food. Are you going to keep on all those choices? We give a standard vegetarian food, sandwiches, small cutlets, and some sweet dish. What else you want? That goes okay with a non-veg passenger also.
Earlier on short duration flights, sir, was non-veg served, non-veg sandwiches earlier, or why was the need for a circular?
I don't remember non-veg, but I think long time back if they have given small non-veg cutlet, what difference it makes? Even a non-veg cutlet, if he doesn't eat a non-veg, will he die on board?
Okay.
It's a good decision. They're taking it's a safety point of view, saving the money, and they're looking after the interest of passenger. What the other airlines, they charge you money.
Spot on. Captain Panesar, for the moment, many thanks for joining me, sir. I also have India Today's Anandya Banerjee, who joins us on the broadcast. Anandya, Captain Panesar says there are safety concerns. Air India says there are time concerns. 15 minutes for takeoff, 15 minutes for landing. Very little time left for passengers to then opt for veg or non-veg, hot or cold. Or that's why they've decided only hot food, only vegetarian food. Why are some protesting, and is there merit in those protests?
Well, Gaurav, to begin with, it's quite a bizarre decision by the Air India. Nobody is going to take it lying down. But there is a consideration, and that has been the consideration of the Air India management for some time now, that it's indeed, for a flight that takes between 61 to 90 minutes, there's a very limited time to serve accordingly veg and non-veg. But also at the same time, there is enough number of crew to make sure that same number of passengers according to their culinary wish can be served those foods, because generally on this kind of flights at least two stewards are there or air hostesses are there. So that's not because considering the fact the flights are limited number of seats, not beyond the number of 60. So that's a very limited seats. So it's not a very big deal to serve during those times. So it remains to be seen whether the passengers take it lightly, whether they opt out of Air India. That is a major concern because a lot of people are non-vegetarian and they may not want not vegetarian food served to them when they pay a hefty price, that to like a airline like Air India. Gaurav?
Okay, Captain Panesar just a short while back was telling us that in the US, airlines even for 5 hours serve only peanuts, tea and coffee. Air India anyway looks after passengers better, gives them both hot and cold meals. And the fact that hot meals are being served, which is not happening in several other private airlines. So it's not possible to serve both in short duration flights. 61 minutes to 90 minutes. Is there merit? Let me get in Tom Vadakan of the Congress party on this. Tom Vadakan, is Air India forcing people to eat vegetarian food? Some people seem to say so. Is there merit in that criticism?
Well, I've not studied the menu of Air India, but to the best of my knowledge, whenever I've traveled, I've got vegetarian when I wanted, I've got non-vegetarian when I wanted. I have no complaints on that.
No, these are short duration flights. 60 minutes to 90 minutes short haul flights is where they'll only serve vegetarian.
Well, that's a new order, and that I think is very strange because they can serve vegetarian food. I think they can also serve non-vegetarian food because the whole issue is whether the services during that duration can be maintained and the crew is put under pressure and there is time for cleaning up and all that stuff and the routine operations. But if they want to serve veg, I'm sure they can serve non-veg too.
Okay, so would you agree with that criticism that this government is forcing people to turn vegetarian on short duration flights, or that is unjustified?
Well, I don't know the government's hand where and how, in what format it appears, but I think a clarity from the government would be useful in this direction, that they have nothing to do with it. But the suspicion, they are always on the suspect list on a variety of things. So I think it's important for the government to come clean on this.
Tom Vadakan, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. We also have former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah, who's questioned this decision of Air India to serve only vegetarian meals on short duration flights. Omar Abdullah tweeted reports about only vegetarian meals being served in the economy class and domestic sector flights for duration between 60 to 90 minutes. And that's his tweet. Pray tell why. I'm trying hard to understand the logic of this decision, but I'm really struggling. That's what Omar Abdullah has tweeted. Air India's logic is in 60-minute to 90-minute flights, they cannot serve both vegetarian and non-vegetarian. Given it takes 15 minutes to take off and land, that's the time the food is stored. They can only serve one hot meal at that point of time. Now, what we are also getting to here is that Air India will be reviewing this new decision, a decision which is to be implemented from the 1st of January 2016. They're saying they will once again review this after getting passenger feedback. On flights exceeding 90 minutes, the present choice of veg and non-veg meals will continue.